And just pushing a little bit on that cycle of small experiments and going back. A few people talking about getting into a cycle of having an incredibly motivated day where you set an amazing number of goals and you're raring to go, and then you lose that momentum. So you start to feel really guilty. You're not completing them. You start ignoring it because of that. And then you'll have another motivated day and you set a whole new set of goals. How do you think about changing that cycle?
So there are a couple different things that I think play into that cycle. One is just looking at your energy. Do you tend to work in waves? Do you have really high productive days and then you need to recover with a low productive day? So there are some people that work like that, and some people that work like that throughout the day, and some people that are just eddy steady. So one is identifying how it is that you generally lead your life. Because if you tend to lead your life up and down, the way you're going to change your goals probably is going to be different than someone that can be very steady. So one is looking at, is this common? Like, is this a pattern with everything that I do? I set the goals, I set a whole lot of them, and then I get bored with them, or I stop doing them when something gets in the way, and then I feel bad and I don't do them anymore, and then I'm back to ground zero. So the first thing I'd say is you might be setting way too many. One. Start with one. Learn the process first. Get the process ingrained in you so that you can make that change and make it over the horizon. So I think that's what I hated about, you go away for a weekend and they come back and say everything was changed, was that it felt like they had made all these huge changes. And I'm like, none of those are going to stick, because we can't make that much change, generally speaking. I mean, I'm sure there is someone that does, but in general, I have not found people that do. But if we pick one thing and we focus on that, then we can pay attention to it and bring it the due that it needs to make that kind of change. It's why I would focus a little more on something that has bigger impact. So some people, when they look at their priorities, they'll do a 2x2 box. And up here on this axis, it will be, has high impact, low impact. And on the bottom, it is low amount of activity. So it's easy to do, or obviously easy to do and hard to do. And if you do that, then you want to try and do the things that have high impact, easy to do. And a lot of times we spend our time on things that are hard to do, hard impact. But whatever you do, low impact, hard is what you don't want to do. So looking at what you can make a change with until you're used to it, and until it feels comfortable or fun, or you find the way to adapt the model to what you like, pick something easier that has high impact. Because I don't recommend setting a whole bunch of goals and making the change that way, because it doesn't tend to work. I also find that for some people, adding something in is easier than taking something away. And for some people, taking something away is easier than adding something in. So knowing your preferences also helps, because then you're more likely to set up an intention that can be successful. Because if you set it, as you said, if you set up a bunch of intentions and then you lose steam within 2 days, that's not going to be very useful or effective or a good way to work. Any other thoughts you have, Janet, on that? Because we've talked about that a lot.
We have. I think from my personal experience, you've helped me a lot to realize that I tend to be more a burst energy worker. And so to ride some of my energy and not beat myself up for not being the Eddie steady at all times. So that kind of helped me a lot in working on goals.
I see that also with creative energy. People that use high amounts of creative energy tends to be a lot about newness and tends to be in that spurts. Now, not everyone, steady Eddies have plenty of creative energy, but what drives creative energy and that newness tends to have that up and down. You're up, it's high, I'm doing this, and then I have to relax and allow things to settle a little. So thanks for sharing that.